Okay. Hey everyone. Hopefully all you guys can hear me here. I'm just gonna test my microphone real quick. Hopefully you can see me on my live face app. This is going to be what we're going to be using a little bit later on for facial mocap. Since I don't have an official webcam on this PC here, I decided to just go ahead and use the live face app just to introduce myself and introduce a little bit about today's webinar. My name's Kai. You may probably heard my voice from tutorials ad nauseum. Today we're going to be talking about basically facial and body animation originating in iClone, and we're going to be sending everything over to Unreal Engine and animating some Metahuman characters in Unreal Engine. There's a lot of more detailed tutorials about this process, which I'll show you in a little bit, and you can go back and review them on your own time. There's a whole series that we have from myself as well as from other developers, other Reallusion and iClone users, and I'll be putting those up a little bit later for you guys. I'll probably put them in the chat window, like the links and everything like that. But yeah, just wanted to say hello and kind of give you a brief overview of today's webinar here. I guess I just did. You don't really need to know much more than that. We are going to be using the new ARKit. Not really new anymore. It's almost a year old by now, but going to be using that setup and basically transferring facial and body animation over to Unreal Engine. And pretty much it. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the very end of today's webinar. So any questions you have, feel free to put those questions in the little Q&A section of your Zoom panel there. And I'll be more than happy to answer those as we move along. I'll be answering them at the very end, but you can put your questions in there anytime. If anything pops up in your head, feel free to throw it in there. Again, chat window, I won't be answering questions from there, but maybe throwing links in there. And if you guys have links that you want to share, feel free to put them in the chat window as well. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, we are sending out a survey as always. We're going to be sending out a survey for you guys. So if you have any feedback for the webinar, anything you want to learn more about in the future, feel free to put your feedback into that survey, and we'll give you the 10% discount for the content store, like we always do. So make sure you just check that out. What else? Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and go into a couple things here. We have the main page. I'm going to show you basically the main page, just a couple of promos here that we have going on. If you go to the main page and you go down to Cloud Services ActorCore, ActorCore is a fairly new service from Reallusion. It's really good, has a whole ton of models that are constantly being updated. There's free content, which is what I wanted to show you for the promotion here. So if you select free content up here, there's stuff you can download for free every month. Member exclusive freebies, sign up freebie and monthly freebie. You can see you get this cool looking soldier dude. And these ActorCore characters are really fantastic. They work really well in a whole variety of scenes. You can customize their clothing, which I just released some tutorials over the last couple of weeks here to kind of show you how to customize the character's clothing. ActorCore character clothing, previously you couldn't do that, but now you can do it with color IDs. And we're going to have a webinar early next month where we're going to actually bring those characters into Blender. We're also going to be modifying their materials in Blender, also with Adobe Substance. So be sure to check that out. I believe it's on March 9th, so coming up in a couple of weeks here, a few weeks maybe. Yeah, so that's really about it for the freebies. Make sure you check that freebie out. Come back regularly to the ActorCore site, get some freebie stuff there. If you want to purchase some stuff, of course, there's all kinds of actors for all kinds of purposes. You can see here anything from like firemen, paramedics, waiters, yada yada. So a lot of these can be used for, and you can like filter them as well. There's a whole bunch of filters down here, and not only that, there's also the motions in here. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of ActorCore. It's really awesome. I'm going to be using it, quite frequently in the future here, and I'm going to put that link in the chat window for you guys in case you don't have it. Yep. All right, David got the free Hulk there, Educator's free R course, and the free mocap. Yep, definitely some free motions in there as well. That's some recommend checking back because it's really cool source of free stuff. The ActorCore site is. Okay, so we'll close that down for now. And what we're going to be focusing on today, like I mentioned, is animating your Metahuman characters into in Unreal Engine using the iClone as the motion generator there. So if you go to product here, close to the bottom, you'll have an Unreal Live link, iClone Unreal Live link. You can click that. I'm going to be using the live link to, obviously stream the live data from iClone into Unreal. And then in this website here, you can browse this. Live Link has been around for a couple of years now. A lot of tutorials, a lot of documentation on it, so you can learn all about that right here. I won't go into too much detail, just you can browse that on your own time. And in addition to that, you can go up to features, Metahuman pipeline, or you can just click Metahuman pipeline right here. And that'll take us to the site that specifically focuses on bringing your Metahuman characters, or not bringing them in, I mean, we'll bring them into Unreal from Quixel Bridge, which we'll show in a moment, and mostly just animating them using iClone's animation tools. So this is a really cool site. Again, a lot of documentation on here. This one talks about the performance tools, which we'll follow through with in just a moment here. And if you go down, there's actually some tutorials down here, showcases at the very bottom. So really cool showcases from a lot of our users. And you can click on more iClone Unreal Live Link tutorials here, or you can just go to there's tutorials from Solomon Jagwe from Africa, JS Films, I believe from Las Vegas, and Reallusion, that's myself mostly. So you can click on those. And the ones I'm going to be dealing with here that I would prefer that if you have any questions, I'd recommend checking out. There's a 4 tutorial series. They're only about 4 or 5 minutes each, and they go really quickly through the process of getting things linked up, which I'll show here in just a moment. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let me see here. Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention as well, we're going to be using Replica Studios, a plugin that is used to animate live in, yeah, I can just type in Replica Studios, whatever. I'm going to put this link in the chat window as well. I often use this just for, AI voices. Again, nothing really is going to replace a certified voice actor, but this is a really good one for people who don't have a budget for a voice actor, or they want to just do like previs kind of stuff. Replica Studios, I'll throw that in there. Question, just a brief question I saw from David about Live Link. Live Link, it depends. It says doesn't cost a lot. There's two tiers of Live Link. They're actually the same product, but if you are an indie studio and you make under a certain amount, and there's you have a good work, or good quality work, you can apply for a free copy of Unreal Live Link. So just be aware of that. You can apply for that from the Unreal Live Link website, I believe. There's free trial. Yeah, there's buy, and then there's indie license right here. So if you click on buy indie license, there's an indie license program where you can get it free for indie studios. So we're trying to support the pipeline with smaller studios who may not have the revenue, the cash flow to pay for the full thing. So again, you can always apply for this. I'm not in the selection committee, but you can certainly apply for it and get things going right here. So that's the link process you can follow. And these tutorials, for sure, you want to select these and learn more about them. You can go into YouTube and find them. Hey everyone, in this tutorial series, we're going to there's my voice. I'll just throw this one in the chat window for you guys as well. This is the first link of a series of 4, like I mentioned. And it'll go over here and find the mix. And there's me live now. Okay, anyways, let's close this stuff all down. I wanted to go back to Replica Studios. So this is they have a Replica Studios plugin for iClone, which I'll show momentarily. But what it does is it just generates artificial intelligence, AI generated voices, which are fairly cool. If I go to my desktop here, we have the Replica Studios application here, and this is the one you download from their site. And you can download the Reallusion or iClone plugin from this site. Hopefully I don't have to log in, because I totally don't know my login information. Oh, hot dog. Okay. So it's like this. I may have to, man, okay. There we go. It's always a second guess. Okay, so in the Replica Studios application, what you do is you basically just go to your sandbox. And this is where you kind of play with stuff. You can select a voice for whatever character you want. Okay. That'll go away. Go away. Okay, well, I guess I'll restart the application. Oh, I didn't update for a while, I guess. Apologies for that, guys. Okay, anyways, Sandbox, this is where type in your dialogue. You can choose a voice from a character. I'll just show it briefly here. And then we'll move on to the Metahuman intro. So, you can choose from a number of different characters here. Seems like their faces are loading. Amber shows up.
Hi, I'm Amber. I have an American accent, and I'm great for voiceovers. It is not intended to be a...
Okay, so you kind of get the point. You can't see their faces right now. Okay.
Give me 5 more minutes. I just need to hack the mainframe.
Okay, so there are a whole bunch of voices you can choose from. There's literally dozens of voices. I won't go through all of them. I like this Hammond one. He's kind of a...
It was simple, given that I had access to the facility after hours.
He's like some hard-boiled detective. Anyways, so that's Replica Studios, and you can basically select your voice, throw your voice into the basically write your own script, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Again, I don't want to go into too much detail right now because we're going to go into Metahuman. I should have loaded that up a little bit earlier. Great. So metahuman.unrealengine.com. This is where you, if you're not familiar with Metahuman, this is where you start. If you have an Epic account, just log in with your Epic account. It'll take maybe a couple minutes to, to load up your Metahuman creator in the browser. And I guess while we're at that, I'll just close this down for now since it may be taking up additional space. Okay, well, I'll be back later. So yeah, once you have your Metahuman character, the next thing you want to do is you want to take it into Quixel Bridge. It'll actually automatically populate in Quixel Bridge when you load it, which I'll just go ahead and do right now. So again, Quixel Bridge, kind of like the asset library application for Unreal Engine that allows you to essentially kind of store all your content, whether it be Metahuman characters or props or all kinds of stuff. So you can see all the collection stuff here. I guess seems to be loading. Okay. Anyways, your Metahuman characters in Quixel Bridge can be found under this little face icon here. You click on this face. You can see there's Metahuman presets. So these are all the default Metahumans that have been generated from Epic Games, and you can throw these in anytime. I've generated a couple of my own, so you can go to My Metahumans there, right here, and it'll show the library. You can see I'm not very creative with my Metahumans. I've seen some really cool stuff out there, but not for me. Anyway, so yeah, you can basically just kind of start with a character. Let's choose this Pia character. This is the one of the characters that I'm going to be using in today's webinar, and just show you some brief. Let's close the chat window down here. You can't see it, but I can. So you can just select Edit Selected, or you can generate a new one. And again, this is your Metahuman interface. I'm not going to spend much time on this. You can kind of rotate around your character. Fairly straightforward. You can see the really nice hair and face she's got. Excellent textures and lighting and stuff make it look very realistic. You can zoom in real close and get a nice perspective of it. All the editing stuff is up here. Skin, eyes. You can adjust the change the eye color to brown or whatever. Teeth makeup. Again, this is not really a character creator webinar, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. There's tons of tutorials on YouTube that you can check. And if you have any questions, specifically for me, I can always answer those later. But one thing I do want to focus on here is the proportions, the body proportions, because this is going to be very important to stop the animation to show them. This is going to be very important later when we're doing our live link from iClone to Unreal. So you want to make sure that you know the body type of your character. Now, if you go to there's short characters, there's average height characters, and there's tall characters. Okay. And if you kind of click on one like this, you can see she'll fill out in a different way. Now, these all have sort of a different classification. And I'll show you this classification in just a moment here. When I go into iClone. So make sure that you recognize which character you have. So you have a short character. There's regular size is this one right here. There's heavyweights or heavier, which is this one right here. And the naming conventions of all of these will be different. And I'll show you those naming conventions in just a moment. They'll be very important. And so this one's the skinny character, okay? So everyone has a female regular weight, heavyweight, and thin character, a male regular weight, heavyweight, and a thin character for all short, average, and tall. So you want to make sure you remember this, okay? So, you know, once you've created your Metahuman character, you're all good to go. It'll appear in Quixel Bridge here. And then what you want to do in Quixel Bridge, you want to make sure you have your Unreal project open, which I already do. I'm going to close Replica Studios for now. So here's my Unreal project. You can see I already have a couple of the characters loaded in. Now, if those characters aren't loaded in, if you haven't added them to your project yet, then what you want to do in Quixel Bridge is just go up here to select your character first. Maybe like Pia will select her. And there may be an update available in this case. I've already downloaded her from before. But if I go click on Glenda, for example, you can see it says Glended, downloaded. Glenda is downloaded. So you want to make sure you download the character first, and then you want to go ahead and export. You can use export down here, or you can actually click on this button up here in Quixel Bridge. And what that'll do is that'll import your character into your Unreal Engine project. But you have to make sure that your Unreal Engine project is open, okay? And in your main content folder, your character, I'm not going to do it right now because it'll take a few minutes and I don't want to waste time. But your character will download to the content folder and the Metahuman subfolder. You can see I've already done that. Glenda, Harold, and a couple other characters that I was testing earlier. So there's Glenda right there. She's a sphere at this point. We can go to Pia, and you can see Pia actually has the blueprint actually has the little thumbnail of her, okay, because she's been loaded in for this project specifically. Okay, so that's really all there is to Quixel Bridge. You know, just get your assets, bring them in. You can, you know, do other stuff too, like vegetation. You can bring your vegetation in and all sorts of stuff. You know, the same way, download and export. Okay, download and export. But we're just going to go ahead and close down Quixel Bridge right now because we don't really need it. And what I'm going to take a look at right now is the characters in iClone, and these are the body types that I mentioned specifically before. Okay, so I already have a project set up. And these characters look kind of creepy. And the reason they look kind of creepy is because I have the shading level in iClone set to minimal. Okay, you can set it to minimal or quick mode, doesn't matter. Both are fairly low resource. You can see I'm only using 0.4 of 8 gigabytes in video memory. Now, this character here is just your basic default character that's included in iClone. If you go to your content manager, your avatars right here, you'll find Kevin down here. There he is, Kevin right here, and this is just Jody. So these two characters, default with iClone, everyone has them. I've just added these characters into the scene. Now, the reason I have these two characters alongside their kind of shadow doubles here is because the actual characters are going to be the ones that drive the facial animation, okay? So they're going to be doing the facial animation, and these two dummy characters over here, these characters are going to be driving the body animation. So essentially, we're live linking 4 characters over to Unreal Engine via live link, and these shadow characters have been kind of harmonized, mapped to the Metahuman characters, and the blueprints have been modified so that they can actually drive the body animation of the Metahuman characters with no error. It works perfectly. Okay, and you'll see that in just a moment. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, when you're back, if I'm still on that page, let's close. We don't need Metahuman open anymore. If you're back on that product page for Metahuman, which I'll just go to here again. I hate how it keeps opening up new tabs. But if you click on Get Tools, you'll have to download this all-in-one trial. This is the way it works right now. They'll send you a link via email once you download the trial. Just keep that link, keep those files, and it's going to essentially be a zip file. And I have it right here. Okay, so I'm going to be using 4.26 in this case, because this is what has worked with me in the past. So you'll get a zip file just like this. Okay, and then you unzip the file. You'll have a couple of folders here. You'll have this file here is a Metahuman Unreal Engine profile. So if you export your Metahuman character to FBX file, for example, FBX format, for example, and you want to import it into iClone for whatever reason, you can go ahead and use this profile for 3D Exchange. This is a 3D Exchange profile, as you can see right here, characterized profile. And Metahuman dummies. Before we get into that, let's take a look at the content. So in content, you'll have Metahumans right here, and you'll have iClone folder. And the iClone folder contains a couple of assets, a few assets, which I'll talk about in just a moment. The Metahumans folder, common face, has a kind of it's going to overwrite the default face and blueprint for your Metahuman characters, just to be compatible with iClone and LiveLink. And it's a very simple edit. I'll show you what it does in just a moment here. Okay, so content. So there's Metahumans. Whoops. Where are we? Yeah, Metahuman dummies. Okay, so these are the ones. They're iClone avatar files. And if we maybe take a look at them, you'll see you might recognize these from iClone. Okay, these are kind of like these are the exact same ones as we have right here. And I think I've saved these as a custom folder for avatars in here somewhere. Perhaps not. I forget where I saved it. But basically, what you want to do is you want to save it to a custom folder, and yeah, I thought it would be in the avatar. It might be in the templates too. I think, yeah, here we go, Metahuman dummies. So here they are right here. You can just copy and paste them into whatever folder you want. Now, I'm going to look at the Explorer because it's a bit easier to see. Very important to recognize here, the first character of every dummy will be either an F or an M, and that stands for female or male, okay? And the second one will be the body type. So you can see this right here, female SRT, okay? Female SRT stands for short. TAL stands for tall, okay? And there's female tall, and then there's medium. There's female medium right here. So MED stands for medium. Okay, so that's the height. And then there's, after that, after the height, the gender, then the height, there's the body type, okay? And you can see UNW stands for underweight. NRW stands for normal weight. And OVW stands for overweight. Okay, so it's very important to remember this because you have to use the same character type Metahuman dummy in iClone as your Metahuman character body type. Okay, very important. Hopefully that's clear. And if you have any questions, make sure that you just let me know. Again, if we take a scene here, my Herald character is going to be driven by this character. So he's a male with a medium height and underweight body. Okay, and the female is female, medium height and underweight body. Okay, so they're both regular height and sort of, I don't know if UNW stands for underweight. I think it does, but I'll just assume that it does. UNW anyways, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's the iClone character intro. Now, let's go into Unreal and take a quick look at, since we're kind of short on time here, I want to do some cool editing real quick. But let's take a quick look in Unreal at the character's blueprints. So when you import your blueprint character in, we'll focus on Unreal now, bring this maximized. Take a look at your character's blueprint. You can either double click here or you can go up here to edit blueprint for Pia. Okay, let's take a quick look at hers. Now, it seems like, fairly complicated at first. The main thing to pay attention to here is this is Pia's blueprint. Down here, this is essentially what's allowing your LiveLink data to transfer directly to the character. The ARKit setup node here is all the head stuff. Okay, the ARKit is the facial blend shapes, and then the stuff down here is all you can see: female, medium, UNW, and in blueprint. So there's a special blueprint just for that character body type. And you can zoom in if you can't see it really closely. And it just basically sets the character, allows, I'm not super detailed on the anim blueprint stuff, but what I do know is it essentially allows you to live cast the LiveLink data to your Metahuman character from Unreal. This is what does it here in your character's event graph. And if you go to the construction script here, the basic stuff again, under body, there's this medium blueprint right here. So if we want to go into the details of the blueprint, we can find it in the content browser. And it should open up. Oh, we need to close this down first. There it is. Okay, so it'll go to the blueprint area. And this is the blueprint in Unreal Engine. Let's double click on this. And you do have to have a slight editing here. And again, those tutorials that I mentioned earlier, they're going to show you how to modify the blueprints. If you're only doing facial animation, it's really easy. You don't really need to do anything. You just need to add like one node on your character's face. But for the body, it's a little bit different. But I won't go into too much detail on the blueprints just because I'm a kind of a moron when it comes to blueprints, and the tutorials will kind of go into more detail on that. So yeah, if you need more details on how to set up your blueprints, check out those tutorials. They'll show you. And also Jay's tutorials as well do a lot of detail on that, which is good. And he explains it better than I could. But essentially what happens once you have all the blueprint stuff set up, before you attach your live link, there's a couple things that you want to do. Or sorry, you want to attach your live link first. So I've imported in these two characters. Again, Metahumans. Harold is down here, blueprint Harold. Okay, and Pia is right there. You can just double click on his blueprint and you'll see the same stuff. Okay, same stuff that I showed before. All right, fair enough. You need to add a couple of things here. Live link for face, live link for face head, and body subject. Essentially, once you follow that blueprint process, your character is going to have three things under the default section here in your details. It's going to have a live link face subject, okay? And in this case, let's just disconnect our live link for now. Oh, we'll just cancel this for now. We'll go into iClone and do it. So in iClone, the process is right now nothing is linked. So if I animated my character in iClone right now, it's not going to animate in Unreal. Okay, and you can see my Mia character went a little bit off just because the offset is a little bit different in my iClone. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what you want to do essentially here is you want to go to Source, iClone Live Link, and OK. Oh, we can trash this one actually. There we go. That should work. And then of course you have to connect an iClone as well, activate link, right? And then there you go. Now it'll show up with your live link stuff. Not necessarily in that source, but that's how you connect them anyways. And by the way, before you do any of this live link stuff, you naturally want to make sure that you have iClone live link already set up right here. So if your Unreal project doesn't have this iClone live link action up here, or the CC setup, you want to make sure that you essentially what you have to do is you have to copy those folders to your project folder, and it'll update it'll basically install the plugin. If you go to edit plugins, there's a few plugins you want to have. Of course, there's the two Reallusion ones here, iClone Live Link and Character Creator. Make sure they're enabled. Okay, and also you want to have the Rig Logic plugin. Rig Logic. Oops. Oh, not in Reallusion. This Rig Logic plugin right here, version 7.0.3. You want to make sure this is enabled as well. This is available from the marketplace for free. Okay, so just close that down. All right, so don't worry about Harold's hair. It's just kind of a LOD issue that when you zoom in, it'll disappear. Okay, so LOD over here just turns bald, and then whoop, suddenly has hair. Okay, so that's essentially the setup. Okay, and sorry, I went briefly through all the blueprint stuff. One other final blueprint I wanted to mention as well, in content, if you go to Metahumans here under Common and under Face, you'll find the face anim blueprint. So this is, if you want to do the facial animation live link, it's really easy. All you got to do here is, this will be the default one. And all you want to do is add in this RL STD pose. Okay. STD standing for standard in this case, of course. Okay. So, and that'll basically drive, because the RL STD pose here, standard pose, this is some of the content that's brought in from iClone when you copy the iClone folder over, like I mentioned before. So go to content and iClone, and you'll have these three items right here. You'll have the RL function library. Okay. And you'll have the standard pose, pose asset, just this one here. And you don't need to modify this unless, of course, you want to adjust the facial blend shapes. I won't bother with that too much. And here's your RL standard animation right here. Okay, so you can see here all the blend shapes, expression brow down right. And it's just essentially defining all of the facial blend shapes and mapping those to your Metahuman character. Okay, and this is the resource that's in that blueprint. Hopefully it's clear as mud. Again, I'm not the best at explaining that kind of stuff, but let's get to the animation stuff anyways, with the last half of today's webinar. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and start our animation. Let's make iClone a little bit smaller so we can kind of see both windows at once here. Okay, we're gonna start with animating our character. So you can see here, if we take our character and we do something easily like go to our modify tab and go to motions, animation right here. Right now the face and the body are both linked up, and you want to make sure again that once that all these are selected. So for example, Pia right here, her face, the source of her face animation is outfits Jody. Okay, so Jody, and you want to make sure that live link face head is selected for the head rotation, and the body subject again is the medium underweight body for the female, okay, that we defined earlier, that blueprint. Okay, so with that enabled, what we can do is we can just get started on her. Now this is her, again, the shadow is her body animation. So, and again, it doesn't really matter where the characters are in iClone. They can be lined up, they can be facing each other, as long as they're lined up in Unreal, okay? So let's do something really quick. Let's go into our smart gallery here, and I'm gonna search for a pack called City Life. Now there's a lot of animations in the City Life pack, and you can find it in the content store. You can also download them and purchase them separately from the ActorCore website, okay? So all of our animations and all of our content packs are also available for individual purchase on ActorCore, which is pretty cool. Makes it a lot easier to get what you want without a lot of unnecessary other stuff. So I'm going to just type in chat, and she's going to use a chat motion real quick. We can just go ahead and do this female chat motion down here. I think this one's fine. Okay, so we'll just double click on this. You can see she'll pop into a pose in Unreal and in iClone. If we play back, let's make this go up a little bit. Okay, it looks like the LOD on her hair in Unreal is a little bit weird, but okay. All right, good enough. We'll just go ahead and work with that. We can even, try another animation like this one up here, this chat one. I think this one's a little bit more intimate. Okay, so her body's moving again, but her face is not moving at all. Now, one thing I may want to do in this case is with my other character, since she's kind of like, it seems like she's not really looking at him, she's kind of looking off into the distance. What I can do is I can use this dummy character for Harold as a reference, and I can move this around. Let's rotate it like roughly 180 degrees, whatever, and bring it over in front of her. And again, the transform position of the character is not going to change. If you change it in iClone, it doesn't matter, okay? But we just want to have it in front of her, roughly, okay? That may be a little bit uncomfortably close for those two. And apologies that the actual window is small in iClone. Unfortunately, can't pan this over just yet. That'll be in iClone 8. Let's have her at the same time as she's doing that animation. Let's have her look at the character. So if we select her, we can go to modify, and just in modify, there's a look at feature down here. So you say look at, pick target, and pick his head. Now, when she's animating, she's going to be, looking at his head. Okay, that looks a little bit better. And again, you can adjust the look at weight. You can have more of it as, her head or just her eyes looking at him, or more her head looking at him. And you can see the difference there in Unreal Engine. Okay, keep it maybe like that level right there. Okay, so we have her, and we're going to just basically animate her face now in iClone. So we're going to switch over to the Jody character, and you can press the J hotkey to focus on a character's face, just like this. And let's go ahead and just maximize this for now, since we're gonna, and let's change the shading mode briefly to high, just to kind of see, because when we do facial animation, we kind of want to see the details of the face a bit more. And I'm going to open up Replica Studios here at the same time. And we're going to bring in that facial animation. I have it saved in my library. The facial animation that I already did. Or not the facial animation, the audio rather, from Replica Studios. The sandbox. And so these are the ones I've already, kind of saved. And you can sign up free for Replica Studios, by the way. I think they have like 30 something hours of, maybe not that long, of free, free audio. You can just test out basically. Oh, okay. So this, yeah, I haven't, I'll need to do this again. So, okay, let's go ahead and select a voice. And goes for her. I think Annabelle sounds okay.
How about you sit yourself down here and
She has like a sassy kind of Scottish voice, I guess. Okay, so let's go ahead and just select Annabelle then, whatever. And we'll just choose some random dialogue, okay? Now you can choose a style here like happy, angry, or scared, okay? So if I type in something like, well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Let's see, can you introduce me to your stylist? Okay, whatever. Let's see how this works out. I've never tested this dialogue before, so bear with me. Let's go ahead and play it back and see. So she probably shouldn't be an
well,
angry
that's
style.
quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
She's angrily asking for the stylist. Let's change this to happy, okay? Since she'd probably be, a bit more amiable when she's talking to someone like that. Again, different characters have different volume, speech rate, and all that stuff, but this one just has the style. So let's go ahead and play that. See what that looks like.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
All right, perfect. That sounds okay. I'll work with that. So in iClone, what we're going to do now here is we're going to load up the plugin for Replica Studios. Replica Studios, Replica Link. Okay. And we want to check the character, which in this case is Outfits Jody. Okay. And select avatar. Okay. Now she's ready to receive voice. Pretty cool. And all we need to do in Replica Studios then is just go ahead and save take. And it's going to save down here. And we go to this download. Now we can download the MP3, or we can just, simply export directly to iClone. So I'm going to export directly to iClone in this case. And you can also choose a style that you want. You can choose like anger, disgust, and this is the expression style. This isn't the audio style. This is the expression style. Now, if you want to default like plain style without any facial animation, without any angry or sad or whatever look, just choose auto in this case, okay? And go ahead and select apply. Okay, and she should receive voice momentarily. There we go. And it's just it's going to bring up our AccuLips. It's going to basically automatically assign the dialogue to AccuLips, which is our very accurate lip syncing technology. And so we don't need to worry about this now anymore. We'll just go ahead and open. Just move my Zoom panel out of the way.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, so she has a little bit of like smiliness to her, if that's even a word. as you can see here. So the auto, I think it took the happiness from the voice and kind of made it a little bit smiley. Again, that's no worries. But you can see here, if we press F3 and go into the timeline, that audio will be saved. If we go open up the Viseme track here, there's two tracks for the face, Viseme and expression. We don't need motion and all that other stuff. So we have a couple of tracks here. The expression track, again, that was added from the auto that I selected, and it just did a happy one, I guess. No worries. We don't need to worry about that. Viseme down here. So the Viseme is very important. You can see here, this is what AccuLips basically automatically generated. Well, that's quite the interesting. And you can see that each word has its own like Viseme spelled out. So this one is like W-O-O, so woo, woo, and then like we, L, and then the TLD, so well, like that. Now you can decrease the expressiveness if you want to have like more of a mumbling type look on that one specific keyframe. So if we don't want that mouth to be open that much, we can decrease the expressiveness. And again, that's not going to affect this one or any of the other ones, okay? You can do that individually one by one by using the expressiveness slider. Another way that you can adjust the overall kind of style of the audio or the lip sync is by right-clicking on the clip and going to Talking Style Editor. Again, there's also the lips options and AccuLips, which I won't really worry too much about right now. I want to show you the AccuLips kind of, this is when you basically import an MP3 or use text-to-speech or whatever, it's going to have this. It's going to put your script here, and then it's going to analyze your script, and you can play it back.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there.
Okay, and that's basically already been applied, so we don't need to worry about that. If there's any errors, you can always fix the errors. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on that one detail. But yeah, we'll talk about the Talking Style Editor, which is really interesting. So here we have the preset, normal speed, okay? There's other ones here. You can change the global to like 200. And this is going to be like really, really super expressive lip sync, okay? So if we have that and we play back.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, so she has a very, very, exaggerated lip sync with global 200. If I change it to something like mumbling, for example, all those values are going to go down really, really low. And if we play back.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there.
Okay, so you kind of get the point there. And unfortunately, she has sort of a smile, so she's kind of smirking as she says it. But anyways, what I'll do is I'll just change this from something to like maybe, I think the normal one worked fine. We're not going to do anything too much detail. And you can also, pump these up individually as well. If you really want her V phonemes to be emphasized, you can increase that level for the F and the V to like much higher. Okay. That's just one point. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to briefly, I'm going to add some facial animation using the iPhone live face, like I mentioned before at the beginning. I'm going to just go over that. And I may have to like adjust my headphones a bit here because it needs to see my face. I have a bad habit of putting my headphones over my forehead. Now, okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just go ahead and do that. I'm going to basically layer over the original expression that we have here. So what I may want to do in a case like this is I may want to go to like click on this expression or Viseme track and press the tab key, okay, press tab, and that'll automatically go to the end of the clip. You can also press shift tab, okay, to go to the beginning of the clip. Tab goes to the end. And when you're at the end of the clip, you can use this button right here to set and frame for your project. And this will only be temporary because we don't want to go beyond this point. We just want my blending of facial animation using live face to go on through that entire duration of this expression clip. If I have it longer than that, like I can do it longer a little bit, but it'll just kind of extend the expression track down here. Okay, and maybe I'll just show you that just in case. You can actually click and drag this slightly. Okay, so our timeline right now will be a little bit longer than the expression clip. So I'm going to go back to frame 1, And I'm going to go to plugins, Motion Live, and we're going to make sure that our connection address is the same here for live face. And yes, it is. And connect our live face. Okay, boom. And then you want to make sure you select your live face down here for Outfits Jody, which is the character we want to drive. And do I have, what is it? X Mirage, there we go. So I'm just going to mirror my face again here. So you can see my face as I'm driving the animation. And I'm doing this all wirelessly, by the way. It's recommended for more detailed to do it, with an Ethernet cable. There's me. You can tap the screen to put a wireframe over my ugly face. There you go. Or whatever works for you. Okay, let's just minimize this. Let's actually, oops. I want to make sure that that's actually on top at all times. Always on top. There we go. So you can see me, her, and the facial. I guess that always on top thing didn't work too well. All right, let's just do this for now. Okay, so we'll pen over here a little bit. Okay, so now since we already have the dialogue, we already have her lips moving, we already have the lip sync enabled, what I can do is I can either just blend my expression into the current clip, or I can simply replace the entire thing. I can replace the entire expression, and that'll get rid of the happy expression that we had before. Now, if I did that, let's go ahead and select replace in this case. Since I don't really want that smile on the face, that kind of smirk on her face while she's talking. So I'm going to get rid of the mouth here. We're going to mask the mouth and the chin. Okay, and then I'm just going to preview this real quick.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, so now you can see.
Well, that's quite.
Okay, that's going to be annoying. Let's turn the volume down here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to just, you can see my eyebrows. I can look. I can turn my head like this. Okay, up and down. Blink, roll my eyes, whatever. Okay, and if I decide to, enable my chin, then I can, which is not something I'd want to do, obviously. Okay, so let's just go ahead and mask out the chin. We're only going to have the eyes. I'm going to put the volume back on here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and record. I don't know what I should do. Make something interesting.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, so I did a little bit of probably your lame animation there. But you can see the expression clip here overrode it, and it went longer, okay, to my project length there. Okay, so let's go ahead and just play that back real quick.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, so some decent, eye expression animation and stuff. We didn't do too much with the nose. I could have wrinkled my nose a bit, I guess. But she's happy, not really disgusted. Okay, so we'll work with that. Okay, we'll work with that, and that's basically, layering facial mocap on top of, automatically generated Replica Studios AI. It can be any audio track as well, and you don't have to layer on top. You can always blend it into other stuff that you already have there. And there's all sorts of other features that I don't really have time to go into because we're going to animate the other character first, and then we'll end off here with the Q&A. So let's close that down for now. We can use this again. No, let's use facial mocap. All right, so I'll say goodbye for now, and here we have our first character, and then he's going to respond. We're going to have him respond, and we'll go ahead and use, Replica Studios. This time we'll download an MP3. How's that sound? And then we'll do it differently. So I think he could be like, let's again go to our sandbox here and select a voice, a good voice for him.
Well, wet me whistle and tickle me pink.
Maybe he's more of a cold guy.
There aren't too many women in this town who can make me blush. Present company accepted, of course.
Okay, so that could work.
Hello, my name is Ethan.
That one's a little bit stiff.
Intruders have been detected in
That one's stiff too. Let's go ahead and just use Colt. Okay, so let's select Colt here. And sure, charming style, since he's, maybe he's happy with the compliment about his hair. Just say, oh, why, thank you, darling. Darling, I go down at the saloon. Odd place for a haircut, but we'll use that. Okay. Hope that plays.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I get it done down at the saloon.
Okay. Good enough. I'm going to save this and I'm going to download it as an MP3. And we'll just save it to our desktop. And we'll call it, thank you, TY, darling. Okay. Okay, so now when she's finished her talking, so we'll play it back and,
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, so now what you can do is you can just take this project length slider all the way up here, and then this one for as long as it takes, and then quickly just select him, and we're going to go to our motion and just go to create script, and we're going to use AccuLips. Okay, so this is how you do it manually without the Replica live link, and we're going to load in our audio file, which is right here. Thank you, darling. Okay, and so just generate text. Okay, so it'll generate text from the audio. I'm not sure how well this one will come out, but we may have to do some quick repairs. Oh, why? Thank you. Okay, so now we have to fix it a little bit, right? So just why? Thank you, darling. I get it. I get it done. Done. Down at the saloon. Curious that it got saloon. Okay, anyway, so once you've fixed the script, just go ahead and press a line. And you'll see the fixed audio up here. You can zoom out a little bit. You can hold your alt mouse button and scroll to zoom in and out.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I get it done down at the saloon.
I'm not sure what it says down, but okay, cool. So we'll just go ahead and apply that. Okay, and we didn't add like any expressions or anything like that. So we have this.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I get it done down at the saloon.
Maybe he's a little drunk and just stumbling on that down. Yeah, so we'll make this the end of our frame again here. Set our end frame. And then what I'm going to do is really quickly use a motion tool called the face puppet tool. This is a really classic iClone tool that just allows you to quickly throw in some expressions on your character. Again, this is mainly used for, I'm just going to use EX Plus. EX Plus is basically the iClone facial profile that's compatible with ARKit. Just so you're aware. And if you have any more questions about that, I can go into more detail later. But let's go ahead and use this one. And we'll give him like a fear. He should be happy, I think, right? Okay, so as you can see, it's fairly exaggerated. And if you want, you can change this, turn the strength down. Okay, so to something like maybe 0.5. That's a bit more subtle. Okay, so maybe he'll have like a nice smirk or something while he's talking. All right, let's go ahead and work with that. And we're going to record.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I get it done down at the saloon.
Okay, see his little smirk there. That's fine. And if I think the eyebrows need a bit more oomph to them, I can go ahead and take one of his eyebrows and do this. Oh, that's doing the middle one as well. Take that out. I want to have a higher strength here. And we're going to blend it. Okay, so we're going to blend it into the previous one. And we're going to select this eyebrow. And we're just going to have it brow, the outer can go up and down like that. So just like this. Or maybe the inner, because that looks a bit more, looks too threatening when the outer eyebrow goes up. Okay. Let's just do both the eyebrows. That's fine. Both the eyebrows, inner will go up. Just like this. Okay, it looks a bit more friendlier that way. Okay, so what we're going to do, have the strength at 1.2. We're going to blend it in. We're going to go back to the first frame and record again.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay, so we're just doing a little bit of, eye animation in there. Again, using your mouse movement, maybe we could do a little bit of just kind of bringing up the eyes there as well to kind of emphasize some more friendliness. We should have probably done that at the same time, but we can just blend into the previous one. Go back to the first frame.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay. So again, the timing might be totally off for those, but again, here we go.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
And one final thing I forgot to add, head rotation. So let's load up Face Puppet one more time. And let's just do this head orientation one in. We're going to erase everything else and only do head orientation and head tilting. And you can see here. Okay, we can move his head around like that. So let's do that. Just one final round and blending again.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay, cool. So quick and easy animation for the dude. At the same time, throughout the same frame, we could probably give him some, sort of body animations. Let's select this character over here, and we're going to give him some body animation. So let's just use that same, for brevity's sake here, let's just use the same pack here and this chat stand motion here. Maybe start it a bit before he actually starts talking. Something like this. And we'll just use this chat stand animation for him.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay. And let's have him look at her as well. Again, using the look at constraint there. So select look at, pick target. Oh, and we need to make sure we do this from the very beginning. So let's just go back to frame 1 here. Look at, pick target, pick her head. There we go. Okay, so maybe prior to this, he's just kind of standing around, okay, not doing much. And then I think it looks natural. We can always throw on some idles and stuff later, but we're kind of running out of time. We have a couple minutes left. And I do want to show you finally the result in Unreal Engine. Let's close down the timeline for now. And let's minimize this. Let's throw Unreal Engine on top. There we go. Okay, if we just make it a bit smaller there. This is our conversation that's going to look like between these two people here.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Actually worked quite well, that saloon part. Anyways, one thing you may have noticed is this guy kind of jerks into action when he boink, like that. Okay, and I can fix that really easily in iClone. This is something I probably want to show you guys. Because we'll select his body. And if you have object related track selected over here, any item you select will automatically populate in the timeline, by the way. So always good to have that option on. And he's not using Visemes, he's using the motion track. Okay, and here's his motion right here. So you can see here, he'll just kind of
Stylist.
like zoom into that kind of position really quickly. If we go over here, we can probably see it a bit better. You'll see him just kind of
Stylist.
ooh. Okay. Now, if you want to avoid that, I mean, a couple things you can do. You can make your transition area a little bit longer here, so it just kind of it's more natural.
To your stylist.
That's a little bit too long.
To your stylist.
Oh, I thank you.
Or another thing you can do is before that, if you want, what you can do is you can throw in some idle motions using the body puppet tool, which I'll do really quickly here. Modify body and go to the motion puppet tool. And here, if we just choose like natural, for example, I don't want his leg position to change because I don't want the transition to be too sharp between these two clips. So I'm going to mask out his legs. Okay, and if we preview, let's mask out his hip as well there. Preview this.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Oh,
okay, so he'll have that kind of natural idle. Maybe the exaggeration could go down a bit. Just make it look a bit more natural. And then we just record that. It can overwrite the second chat clip. Don't worry about that. And just press record.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Oh.
Okay. Now be aware that if you do that over top of the second clip, it'll completely overwrite the second clip, which is not what we want in this case. Okay. So what I should have done is Control Z undo that. And I should cut that out before I enter this clip over here. So I can even just go and change that project length slider to that length and then just record. Again, the same thing, masking out the legs. Otherwise, we'll have some foot sliding.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your...
Okay, there you go. And then when you have that, you have these two separate clips you can blend together. We'll just make the length slider a little bit longer.
To your stylist.
Okay, so now he just goes from this idle to that idle.
Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Okay, you can blend them together if you want to. You can make it a little bit earlier.
Introduce me to your stylist.
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay, so I think that works. That works for your quick and dirty motion editing, anyways. So we can go ahead then and let's close down Replica Studios. We don't need this. And let's just play it back on loop here, so we can loop it. And of course, you can always use Take Recorder and record it in Unreal and import it into other projects and stuff as well. But I won't cover that right now because we're out of time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play this back, and we're gonna go into Unreal.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay, it should loop again.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
Okay, there's the LOD again. But you get the point. That's kind of like just, creating a simple dialogue between two characters, using Replica Studios.
Well, that's quite the interesting hair you have there. Can you introduce me to your stylist?
Oh, I thank you, darling. I got it done down at the saloon.
And I probably would wanted to make that smirk last longer as well. But of course, these are all tweaks that you can do later on with the more detailed editing. Okay, so let's end off the webinar there then, and I'm going to go into the Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A window. I saw there's a lot of stuff here in the chat window I didn't get a chance to look at. It seems like a bunch of joking around, but yep. Okay, cool. We'll go into the Q&A then. So, okay, first question is from Ross here. How do we update LiveLink? So if you want to, I'm not sure if you mean like update or install into your program or not, but essentially, if you want to update LiveLink, what you want to do is make sure you go into your content folder and just show and explore. So essentially, you want to go to your Unreal projects. This one's called tutorial. Okay, and you want to see there's a plugins folder, and you'll have the auto setup here, and you want to essentially copy the auto setup in the Unreal live link stuff. I think I might have the live link stuff saved here. No, I don't have that saved there. No, so yeah, you'll have to download the live link plugin folder and the auto setup plugin folder, and essentially everything just needs to be copied into your Unreal project folder. Okay, and you need to make sure that the versions are compatible, obviously. So make sure that you're using 4.46 or 4.26 or 4.27, and you're using the respective versions, the files that are from Unreal Live Link, the iClone files as well. And I'm thinking they may have changed the area where you can find the live link stuff again, but yeah, you will get some files sent to you, Unreal Live Link files, and that's all covered in the setup stuff. But in terms of updating, it's just a matter of really ensuring that there's a consistent version between the files that you have in iClone, or the Unreal Live Link files you have in the project version that you're using. Just be aware of that. You can, I mean, there's no problem. A lot of people still use, like, 4.24 or something like that, 4.25, but just make sure that there's a consistency, excuse me, between the versions that you're using. And the follow-up question from Ross was, when did the new versions come out? No, we basically make it a point, whenever a new version of Unreal comes out, we try not to be very far behind with the update for our live link plugin. Generally within a month, we'll have an updated plugin available for you guys. So just check back on the site, or you can download the project files or the live link files again, and there'll be a newer version available. Unfortunately, I don't have those downloaded right now, but okay. And asking about Unreal 5, yeah, Unreal 5. I mean, we're obviously on top of things when it comes to any new developments with Unreal, so we're always going to have compatibility with them. No need to fret with that in regards to that. So yeah, so another question from Robert Hensley. I guess a lot of interest about Unreal Engine 5. Is there a way to implement Live Link in Unreal Engine 5? Not yet. So we don't have the Unreal Engine 5 Live Link set up yet, and that's going to be coming in the near future here. But yeah, so right now it's the 4.4, 4.25, 2.6, and 2.7. I think are the latest ones that that we have available. Okay, question from David. Is Real Vision doing anything to cultivate a developer community with game studios? I'd love to find places looking to hire people with experience with iClone and Character Creator, but I find it hard to find that on places like LinkedIn and standard job searches. To be quite honest, most of the people that are using iClone at this current time are smaller studios. So, I mean, you're not going to get someone like Electronic Arts really using iClone at this point. Maybe in the future, who knows? But it's generally smaller studios with a lower budget, because iClone is suitable for people with lower budget for the most part, unless you get into the more detailed stuff. But yeah, in terms of cultivating a developer community, we do have a lot of training centers that are popping up around the world here, and if you can find those on our education site. I'll just put this in the chat window for you guys. If you go to education.realvision.com, it'll redirect you to here. It's just easier to remember. But you can go to Academic Alliance. So there's a number of universities that are using our stuff around the world, and they're teaching. They're using iClone to teach in their programs. And if you want to go to a training center and learn more about it, there's training centers here. Okay, a number of really good ones around the world. And again, this is expanding all the time. So we've just kind of started this late last year, actually. And certified trainers, a bunch of people you can contact individually, and they're able to help you in all sorts of different languages as well. So I'll throw this this chat or this link to the chat window for you guys. Maybe training centers would be the most interesting. Yes, yeah, there's Marco for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so that's in the chat window for you guys there if you want to take a look. Yeah, I kind of agree. Some larger studios, they could be using the software and saving money and time for sure. But when you have $1 billion, I guess it's all about the level of financing you have on your project. But good question, David. Thank you for that. Another next question from David was any word on the release dates for iClone 8 and Character Creator 4? I knew this one was coming. So iClone 8 CC4 right now is looking for a spring launch. So it'll be Q2. That's March, April, May, one of those months. Again, it could be March, it could be May, but there's a lot of last minute bugs and updates that need to be worked on and stuff. Obviously, the meat and potatoes are all done, but we want to make it the user experience to be the best one possible. So we want to make sure that bugs are taken care of and we have QA testing going on and stuff. I'm already doing tutorials for iClone 8, so it can't be that far behind. Can't give a definitive answer on that though, so apologies for that. Question from Ross, the Unreal Engine 5 one again. I think I answered that earlier. Unreal Engine 5, not just yet. Marco asks, can we mute the body animation when working with facial animation in iClone? Let me think. Generally, you would have to, there's a workaround way to do it. You can always save your body animation as a separate file and then remove the body animation and then do the face animation and then reapply the body animation. But generally the workflow that I follow is I'll do the facial animation first and I'll use the body animation to kind of emphasize or exaggerate the facial expressions. That's the way that the workflow that I follow is I do the facial animation first just because it'll keep the face steady. Obviously, you don't want it to be moving around when otherwise, but it's always a good idea as well to save the body animation separately from the head animation as well. And then you can just kind of apply them separately on top of each other. But yeah, you can't at the same time mute the body animation. Oh, you're talking about iClone 8. Oh, iClone 8, yeah, we're gonna have that kind of feature in iClone 8. So apologize, I didn't read the iClone 8 at the very end of your question there. But yeah, iClone 8 is gonna have features where you can mask out the body animation and different parts of the body while recording the face. That was a wanted feature, a requested feature from before. So I take back my previous answer because iClone 8 is gonna cover it. Okay, question from David. For the workflow, would it be better to do live face first and then add the lip sync after? No, I always start with lip sync just because, and unfortunately when I did the lip sync today for the auto from Replica Studios, it gave her that smile, which I didn't really like. You can always delete the expression track if you don't like the smile or the automatic expression that it adds onto your face. But I like to, just do the lip sync first, just to get the accurate lip sync, because then, sometimes you can twist your mouth too much and it makes the lip syncing look really stupid. So it's very important to have, if you have to have the most accurate lip syncing, you want to have very subtle facial mouth expression. And I might even suggest just doing the mouth completely separately and being layering it on top, like I did a number of different layers on top of each other. That's always a good way to kind of do things as well. Question from Jerry: with the Motion Live, can you also record your voice dialogue along with providing facial animation, or do you have to do each separately? Yeah, Jerry, you can do them both at the same time. If you go to, really quickly, I'll show you any one of these characters here. Plugins, Motion Live. Not her. Him. I have it still open here on my phone. Okay. The question was, yeah, okay, so yeah, sorry, I just wanted to, you don't actually have to, I don't actually have to do anything here, but you can just click on record audio for Vising track here. Okay, and when you do that, record audio for Vising track, it'll record your audio at the same time. Generally, if you have a really good mic, you can do this simultaneously. I recommend sort of trying to clean up the audio first, unless you're like in a studio mic or something like that. But generally, you'll want to clean up the audio a little bit first before you record it. And when you do this, if I just did a quick example here, let's go to the end of our project here. Let's do this. What was his name again? Harold. Yeah, right. So I can just do something like, hey y'all, my name is Harold. How's it going? Okay, just there's my stupid accent. It would look something like this. Hey y'all, my name is Harold. How's it going? But again, it's messing up the lip sync with the hey y'all, my name is Harold. Oh, it sounds like there's a jet plane in the background. Yeah, so that's with my mouth, and I forgot I wasn't looking at the iPhone, so I should have looked at the iPhone there. But we can try it again. We can just delete that one. So again, this is I'm recording audio for the Vising track, but it's not using the AccuLips. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, let's look at the camera this time. Hey y'all, we need to delete the Vising track as well there, sorry. So Puppet clip and Vising clip both need to be deleted. So here you can see it generated the Vising, but there's no actual words here like there were with AccuLips. Okay, so I do recommend using AccuLips. I don't recommend using this just because AccuLips is a bit more accurate, a lot more accurate for facial expression. But you kind of get the point there. I won't do it again, just to, that's the process anyways. No, next question. Another question from Jerry. Can you recommend any Android-based facial capture software apps that can work with iClone? Unfortunately, not right now. We don't have that option, for Android phones. But we are working on that as we speak. So it's only a matter of time before we get that working. The reason being for that is because the technology we're using for the facial blend shapes is Apple ARKit, and that's only obviously compatible with the iPhone. You can't use Apple ARKit with Android, so just be aware of that. But we are kind of looking at options and looking to develop options for Android facial capture as well. Okay, question from Ryan. You recommend using Ethernet for Face Live? I've tried using USB tethering a few times, but it's never perfect. I always resort to using AccuLips from pre-recorded voiceovers and then layering a face puppet on top for expressions. I'm considering purchasing Faceware real-time for iClone. Have you found Faceware to provide better results than iPhone Face Live? So there's kind of two answers to that question. Because the Apple iPhone uses the ARKit, it's going to have the most detailed facial expression, regardless. Whereas if you're still having that issue with USB tethering, I'm not sure what the issue may be, but you can always smooth it out afterwards. You can always do editing after the fact. If you find there's a glitch or a clip or something that, like I'll even show you an example here of how you can quickly edit out some facial expression. Let's just do like just gonna open up this stupid Ocean Live again there. Keep on closing it and opening it up. So if I wanted to, say for example, do a little bit of facial animation for Kevin here, let's just go ahead and do that really quick. Okay, so it's a bunch of facial expressions there, and you can see it populated my puppet clip track. Okay, we don't need the Vising stuff. Oh, I did record. Okay, whatever. Let's just delete the audio there. It's not going to matter anyways. So we have the deselect that puppet clip here. Okay, so this is your data from your expression. You can see here we can right click, and now what we can do is we can sample this. Okay, if we sample it, it's going to add just a whole crap load of keyframes for our muscles, eyeballs, and heads. We can delete these, we can move these around, we can do all that sort of stuff. I'm just going to Control Z and undo that. But say I'm going to show you a really quick and easy example here. So hey, say, you know, when he puffs out his lips like this, I want it to be, you know, what can I cut out here? Maybe I don't like how large his mouth opens here. So what I can do, say for example, if there was a jittery part there or a clippy part, I can right click on the clip and break it. Where are we here? Break, there we go. And where his mouth opens like that, I could, after it opens, I can right click and break again. And then I can just simply delete that part in between. And I can just, you know, transition the area over like this. Okay, so that way he doesn't open his mouth so big. Okay, and we can, you know, bring it forward even as well like that. So, you know, there's stuff that you can do like that, and you can sample the muscles as well. Like, so for example, if I just sample this part and I zoom in and decide to delete some of this stuff. So from here to here, it's not going to move, right? Totally no movement until it reaches here. However, if I restore that, you'll see we'll have the, well, not much movement anyways. But how about this, always fun doing this on the fly. This part here, if I delete some of the smile part, you can delete those just like this. It's going to stay like that until here. Okay. And you can move these around, and basically you can click on any one of these clips here. Oops, let's just like double click on any of these clips here. That should open your face key editor. Oh, there we go. Okay, for some reason it was opening there. If I wanted to, you know, modify this part here, so see from here to here, I wanted to have him raise his eyebrows a little bit. I can just go here, drag that, wrinkle up his nose a little bit maybe, and it's going to add a keyframe right there. Now in iClone 8, there's going to be a whole bunch more tracks for your facial muscles. Right now, iClone 7 is only limited to this one for now, unfortunately, so it's a major drawback, but iClone 8 will have all of them taken care of. Okay, so from here to here, we'll have that, his eyebrows will go up like that. And maybe even have his chin like that. Okay, so he has a devilish glint for a little bit and then back to normal. And that's how you can, you know, smooth things out, modify them really quickly, separately. But again, it is limited to that one muscle track and the one head track. But again, iClone 8 will have dozens, I say, of those tracks. Whoops, did I open here? Oh, there we go. Q&A. I hope that answers your question there, Ryan. But again, yeah, in terms of faceware, again, since it uses webcam, it might be more accurate or more quick on the draw. You may experience less clipping, but I mean, I'm even using just Wi-Fi and I haven't experienced much clipping yet. So, and there's always the smoothing option too. Okay, next question is from Callian. Thanks for the walkthrough. When I use iPhone, my 13 Pro Max to capture lip movement, I get a lot of jitter. For example, shivering due to extreme cold. How do I fix that? Also, the mouth opens far too wide. Is there a way to control this? Okay, so I guess I'll go back into Motion Live again. And to smooth out, if you have like jittering on the lips and stuff, you can often go into smooth here. You can activate the smoothing. So if you activate the smoothing and increase the muscle smoothing, the value right here, that'll often take out a lot of the jitters that you may be experiencing in your face. So you can smooth head rotation, you can smooth all this other stuff. Again, if you smooth it too much, it may seem a little flat. Okay, so just be aware of that. It's kind of a fine balance you have to find in your particular scenario. Strength, you can adjust the strength for each value as well. Maybe if you're shivering, the jaw value is too high or something, you can always lower these down. But yeah, just be aware of the smoothing function right here. That'll be the one that you want to pay attention to. David asked a good question here. Does iClone have anything to simulate breathing? Not automatically, but I mean, you can simulate breathing on your character by changing the body morphs on the chest and stuff, like making the body morphs go like larger or smaller. But in terms of like automatic blinking, oh, by the way, you should normally turn off automatic blinking when you're doing all this capture, just because you don't want to add double blinking on top of your real blinking. Yeah, you can always do that with your character and other stuff. So there's like the morph animator, morph creator over here. I'm not sure if this guy is enabled with all that stuff, whatever, but oops. Yeah, he doesn't have any morphs enabled, but what you can do is you can create a morph for your character. I haven't done this in ages. And they're see why it's not appearing. Oh, there we go. And in the morph creator, you can kind of like create a morph for your body, like your biceps, for example, and you can have your character flex those biceps. But again, you have to have the morph kind of transferred over from character creator first. This is, yeah. So you kind of like add a morph, create one right here. And yeah, you have to have the morph right here. So it has to be like an OBJ file or something like that. And you have to import it in either using an iAvatar or an OBJ character. So that's all done in character creator. This one, unfortunately, doesn't seem to have any loaded up. So, but yeah, you can generate a morph where his chest will get big. And then you can import that morph in as an OBJ, and then you're going to be able to animate that, using the morph animator in iClone here, just this one right here. Okay, unfortunately, yeah, this guy doesn't have any. I don't think she does either. Doesn't seem so. All right. Okay, next question. That's how you would simulate breathing, though. Question from Callian. AccuLips is awesome. I'm using it for animation in Tamil language. Great. One issue I have is on the rendered video, the blending is not smooth on fast phrases. Is there a way to fix this? Yeah, so we are working, pretty hard on getting support for other languages. We've had, thousands of requests for people that want, other languages for AccuLips. Unfortunately, we just popped out the English version last year, so we're still working on, the language requests. I'm not sure if there's independent developers working on it from different countries in the world. I heard something about that, but yeah, we are working our best to get more language support. And yeah, in certain, especially maybe something like Tamil, for example, you will have, words that have different conjunctions and stuff than English, and it'll kind of not be as accurate as AccuLips should be. So apologies for that. We're working on all the languages. Okay, Arnaldo. First of all, thanks for the webinars and tutorials. No problem. When I export a character with a full beard from iClone to Unreal Engine using LiveLink, and when using Live Face, the beard doesn't move according to the character's face, or it disappears when the character opens his mouth. In terms of a beard, Surface Suite and IFCC3. If you're using the new beard and brow system, there may be some issues with that in terms of morphing the beard and brows to the face shape. I do recall that it's still not a perfect transfer yet, and they are working on that. So I think what you're describing here is a known issue, and I think they are working, to resolve that. I believe if you post in the forum, there's some people who have come up with a workaround. I haven't quite done that myself yet, so I haven't messed around with characters with beards or anything yet. or I haven't encountered the problem that you encountered there. I have imported iClone characters with beards into Unreal Engine. But again, since Unreal Engine uses cards in general for their facial hair, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I would essentially tell you to post on the forums, because that's something I'm not really super familiar with myself. I haven't encountered that, but I have heard of it happening. So by the way, guys, if you have like any issues that you're coming across, there's probably like hundreds of other users that have had the same thing happen to you. Same thing happened. If you go to like forum.reallusion.com, you can just go to like, for example, iClone. There's technical issues and stuff right here, and all sorts of different sections that you can post in here. I'll throw this in the chat window in case you guys, it's not that hard to, forum.reallusion.com, but there you go. And there's always tons of users here who, you know, have lots of free time somehow to just, you know, throw stuff in there. And yeah. So I can't resolve that issue right now for you, Arnaldo, because I'm not super familiar with the whole process right now, but yeah, hopefully we can find an answer there. A question from Robert: I've had issues with the transfer function breaking the clothing texture, and natural maps have been instead importing manually. Is there a setting that I can adjust to get that working again? I'm assuming if you're talking about metahuman characters, I'm not sure the solution for that, since metahuman characters shouldn't be having that issue when they're importing into Unreal. But if you're transferring CC3 characters into Unreal, there are occasions where you know, the mesh results, the mesh layering results in iClone will not be the same as they are in Unreal. And generally what you want to do to avoid any situation like that is when you export your character to Unreal, make sure that you kind of like hide delete hidden faces, this one here. If you use this option when you export to Unreal, delete hidden face, you'll rarely encounter mesh breakage. So highly recommend using this one when you're exporting your FBX. Again, unfortunately, LiveLink doesn't have that option because LiveLink will do the automatic transfer over. But if you're doing the FBX, this is one solution for that, to avoid the breakage of meshes through each other. Yeah, you can try that, or there's also, you know, in Character Creator 3, before you take your character into iClone, you can also do that, and then LiveLink should work fine, because the faces will be hidden anyways. There's a hide face option, and there's many options to hide your face, mesh breakage in Character Creator 3. But I won't go into detail on that right now since it's a different application. But what about, okay, next question here, Raphael. What about Adobe Voco? It's so cool that the software is able to mimic voices when adding new text. Can I add those new voices to Replica AI? I don't know. I've never tried that. I can't give you an answer for that. Sorry, Raphael. But yeah, I have seen demos of Adobe Voco before. It's pretty cool stuff. If you can save those files as MP3s, you can bring them into AccuLips, no problem. I'm just not concerned. I'm not worried about I'm not sure is what I should say about the compatibility with Replica Studios. Question from Pablo: is there future development for Android devices? Yeah, I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are kind of looking at different options for Android. Again, with the Apple ARKit, that's the bread and butter of our driving our CC3 base plus characters facial animation right now. So unfortunately, it'll take a lot more effort than it seems to get compatibility with Android devices. Right. All right, a couple questions here about the training centers from P. Angelique and Ross Cohen. If you want to join the training centers as a trainer, you can just go to there is an application on there somewhere. Yeah, Get Certified right here. So you can click on Get Certified and fill out your stuff right here. And we have a whole team that kind of analyzes and determines, who's good for training centers, and if we need them at this time. Again, this is constantly growing, and we have a ever increasing demand for people to get trained with iClone. So good train to be on at this time. Okay, Robert asks, what are the main features that separate iClone 7 from 8 and CC3 from CC4? Cool, so we actually have a page that's dedicated to that, Robert. Just go to products and the future 3D creation. Dun, dun, dun. Sounds pretty cool. Anyways, so all the new features are basically outlined here. So here's some preview videos. You can watch the preview videos, but there's more detail in here as well. So here's the full feature list. Okay. CC3, CC4. Okay. So you get non-human characters, et cetera, yada, yada. You can check this out on your own time, really. I don't want to go through all the features, but the advanced muscle panel is one that I kind of was looking at with the morphs a little bit earlier. So again, the detailed layers tracks, that's going to be a lot more blend shapes for each part of the face. There's going to have a separate track for each one. Okay. Whole bunch of other stuff down here. Again, just browse it on your own time. I won't go into much detail on it, but yeah, motion blur and volumetric lighting are pretty cool. All the features are there anyways for you there. So, all right, so another question from David. Any chance for an upgrade for live face to get it to record the audio and mocap on the phone or a server? It would be nice to capture motion in the field without having to lug a laptop with you. Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, unfortunately, in terms of capturing the data, I'm not sure the requirements, how resource intensive it would be to capture that data on a phone. I think you would need at least some sort of video card to do so. But yeah, that is a wishful feature. I'm just not sure about the technical restrictions that would prevent such a thing from happening. Question from Tony: How do you do a live avatar while doing face live voice? I have the webcam set up. I want to stream an avatar to YouTube while talking. Yeah, you can do that in iClone. iClone 8 is going to have a feature actually dedicated to that, so you can look forward to that. But if you wanted to do it in your regular iClone, basically just set up your motion live. You generally want to have a separate monitor to put all your panels on and stuff like that. But you can just go to like your workspace can be like full screen. You can just like go Control 7 like this, and obviously you want to take your Unreal Live Link to a different window or whatever, and this will take up your entire screen. So once you have all your control panels on a different monitor, you can have one full monitor dedicated to this entire screen, just like this. And what's that? Oops. Oh, no. Trying to remember my hotkeys here. Nope. I forget the one to make all this stuff disappear anyways, but yeah, that would be the way that you would do it. So you'd have this screen right here, and you could, copy or just broadcast whatever screen you have at that point. That would be the way that I would do that for this point. But again, iClone is going to have a better look at that. Okay, a few more questions here. We're going to go for another 10 minutes or so. Jerry asks, does AccuLips work with any generated audio, or is it specifically for use with the Replica software? The good news is it works with any audio, any generated audio. Of course, you want to try and have the cleanest audio possible, cleanest, and don't try not to slur your words and like blur your words together, and it should work just fine. And again, you can always fix it if not. Raphael, I know iClone 8 has rotoscope capabilities. Will you guys be able to copy character animations from existing movies and video games? It's like rotoscope on steroids. This will be a huge time saver. I believe that feature is going to be available I believe you're going to be able to take a video and basically it's going to rotoscope that progression of the video and convert it to an animation. I have heard talk about that, and I think that's going to be upcoming. It may not be available for launch yet, though, so just be aware of that. But it is, the name of the game for our software is to save time on animation. So that is a feature that we are actively developing. Robert, another question. Every time I start an animation, the characters with long hair tend to have a jerk and stutter at the beginning. I can edit and post-process and account for that. But is there a way to just turn off the hair physics at the beginning of the animation so it doesn't flip around? Yeah, so unfortunately, that's one of the most annoying things. If you have like hair physics, pressing play will, cause the hair to start flip out. And yeah, unfortunately, that you do have to edit that out. There's no real way around that at this point. So sorry about that, Robert. Cheyenne asks, will the new iClone allow for live face to capture without being live, like with other facial capture software? Yeah, we're going to be working, to get it available with just, reading videos, facial capture videos. Like we already have that available with Faceware. You can actually upload an image sequence into Faceware, and it'll do the facial mocap from the image sequence. And that's going to be worked on as well with other software or with other hardware, I guess. Okay, Ray asks, wouldn't it be pointless to buy 3D Exchange considering CC4 will have it as part of it? Same with live mocap. To be honest, to buy 3D Exchange right now, I wouldn't recommend it. I think there's certain deals where if you buy it now, you get a free upgrade to iClone. There's some deals where if you spend this amount of money, then you get the free upgrade to iClone. But yeah, 3D Exchange is going to be integrated into iClone in the future, in iClone 8. So it's not going to be a separate program any longer. But all I know is that there's a certain amount of purchasing that you have to do, and then you get it free anyways. So you can consider it. It may be worth it in the end if you need it for the next couple of months. But I've had other people that have asked me the same question. If you're willing to, rough it out another couple of months, then yeah, just go for the full iClone. Or else, if you want to do the free upgrade with this level of purchase amount, then that works fine too. But the choice is up to you. I won't. I'm legally obligated not to say no. I'm just kidding. It's really up to you. It depends on if you have the money to spend now or later. So Don asks, is iClone 8 and CC4 provided a discount cost for Premium Plus members? Yep. If you have iClone 7 and a 3D Exchange Character Creator 3, you log into your account and go to the software store, you'll get the price will automatically apply to your account. All right. Okay, question from Ray. iRay isn't rendering the image in CC. I have the RTX 3090. Well, then it's certainly not the video card that's the problem. If iRay isn't rendering a CC image, there may be some iRay settings that you need to look at. iRay is a bit finicky when it comes to materials and shader transfers, so you need to mess around with the settings a little bit. And I'd have to troubleshoot quite a bit more than I'm able to in this webinar, unfortunately, for that. But it would definitely be due to the iRay settings and not your video card. And David asks, is there a way to use webcam to mocap with iClone 7 or 8? We've looked into that, and we know there's some technology coming out that makes that available. That is something that we're actively pursuing with partners, but not at launch. Okay, question from Ray. The character's hair keeps going through my character's body. How do I fix that? Generally, if your hair is going through your body, the best way to try and fix it is to go to your physics. What's this? Viewport. I don't want that. The physics for your character. So, like your collision shapes. Where are the collision shapes again? Oh, there we are. In the attributes, your collision shapes down here. And you want to make sure that your collision shapes, like your shoulders, for example, if it's poking through your shoulders, maybe you want to activate that selected part. So activate a collision shape there. Click here, activate a collision shape there. And if it's still going through the shoulders, what you can do is you can also increase the margin, like, to something like 2. Okay, so that'll make a larger margin around that mesh where the hair is unable to go through. Fictional ecstasy, not really much. You can change the bound type this way. You can also press the W hotkey and move it around. The R hotkey will scale it just like anything else, right? Okay, so if your hair is going, obviously this guy doesn't have any hair, but if the hair is going through his shoulder, then you want to position it to make sure it covers the area where the hair is going through, like something like that. Okay, it's all about collision shapes really, and you just have to trial and error those collision shapes. Ian asks, I've not yet seen iClone 8 CC4 upgrade price for current users. Do we know when that's going to be available? Yeah, upon launch, it's going to be available. Unfortunately, there's no direct, because we're combining 3D Exchange into iClone 7, there's no real one-to-one upgrade price. And that's why they've done that sort of complicated, buy this amount of content and get this free or whatever. But yeah, there's no direct upgrade price, and it'll be a little bit complex when it does happen, but you'll see that happen at launch. Motion Live will work at launch, asks Ross. Yes, absolutely. Motion Live will work for sure. Yeah, so question from Ross about collision of character arms to the body is a totally different one from collision shapes. If you find that your character's body or arm is going too close to the body or through the body, for example, like maybe here, I don't like the way his arm is positioned, you have to use the motion key editor, the edit motion layer tool here. Whoops, I think I'm still sharing my screen. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. I think I stopped sharing. Accidentally clicked on something. But yeah, you want to use the edit motion layer tool here. If your character's arm is ever into the mesh, then you just rotate it out. Okay. Use the edit motion layer tool to do that. Again, you want to do a better job than this, obviously, but yada yada. There you go. Maybe the shoulder can be out further as well. But you get the point. It's using the edit motion layer tool. I won't go through a whole scenario though. Yep, perception neuron is going to work with iClone 8, no problem. Robert asked, do you have an official Discord server? I don't think we have an official Discord server for Relusion yet. You may want to check on our like Facebook or Instagram or something. I avoid those things, but yeah, I think Discord server, I haven't heard anything about it. So yeah, I know we do internal Discord conversations, but not for like a fan official site. Oh, so David says there's a Relusion Discord, but it's not from the company. Okay, well, yeah, maybe we'll have to take that over at some point. Until then, that's cool. So maybe if you want to put the Discord in the chat window, that'd be fun, so people can take a look at it. Jerry asks, will there be improved native real-time rendering in iClone 8? Yes, there will be. But again, we are relying on first at render engines like Omniverse to get like the ray trace. We're not going to have ray traced real-time stuff in iClone 8 because the focus is going to be on animation tools, and we're going to just going to basically try to improve the pipeline to things like Omniverse and Unreal Engine. Okay, it's about the edit motion layer tool. Ross, there's a whole scenario to go through when it comes to using the edit motion layer tool. I think that, oh, here's the Discord. Oh, okay. Sun Tzu. So I'll throw this in the chat window for you guys. David just threw in You're losing Discord. Oh, that's already in the chat window. Okay, everyone. So David put that in the chat window for you guys. Not again, not the official one, but so if there's any sort of weird stuff going on there, we're not responsible legally. Yeah. So Ross, so about your question with the edit motion layer tool, there's a whole scenario to go through in terms of editing with that, and I covered it in a few other tutorials and webinars, but yeah, it's a whole lesson. So I can't really go through it at this point right now. And Ray asks, how do I fix sliding feet or positions in motion alignment when linking to motions? Sliding feet, there's a number of different ways to fix it, and it really depends on the scenario. There's no one size fits all solution for that. There's a number of tutorials out there, both by myself and other developers, that talk about resolving foot sliding issues. It's something that maybe you can look at in the forum as well. There's a lot of stuff people have lots of solutions for it. So, okay, we'll do one more question here from Jerry. I missed your answer. Will there be improved native real-time rendering in iClone 8? Yeah, it'll be improved, but again, not ray trace levels, not photorealistic level. Just so you're aware. Again, we are, like I mentioned, looking to mostly develop our pipeline with software like Unreal and Omniverse for ray traced rendering. It will be developed later on, but at this point we are focusing, like I mentioned, on the animation tools. All right, looks like all the questions are answered here. So I think we'll end off the webinar here then. Thanks so much again, everyone, for being here. Love to have you guys all along. Hopefully you learned a little bit about getting your Metahuman stuff into Unreal and animating with iClone. Pretty fun pipeline to work with. Again, make sure you check out our webinar we're going to have on the 9th. It's going to be about importing your iClone characters into Blender. We're going to animate with iClone and render with Eevee and cycles. Lots of fun stuff coming up there. Some modifications on ActorCore characters. And as always, make sure you fill out that survey. We'll email you guys a survey and get a 10% discount for the content store. And keep your heads up and eyes open for more tutorials and stuff coming out on the YouTube channel as well. All right, so I guess I'll bid you guys all adieu. Thanks so much for being here. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And we have a webinar tomorrow as well. It's a 2D webinar if you want to join. But yeah, glad to have you guys along today, and I'll see you later.